Hi everyone, I'm Oliver. Welcome back to English Flash Talk. Today we are tackling the big one. The question every student asks, how can I start thinking in English?
Oh man, that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Hi guys, I'm Sophie. Honestly, Oliver, I think many people believe that one day you just wake up and poof, your brain has magically switched languages.
Haha, exactly. Like a software update for your head. But the truth is much more, down to earth. It's not a switch, it's a muscle you have to train.
Train your brain. I love that because let's be real, if you are always translating from Spanish to English in your head, you're always going to be one step behind in a conversation. It's exhausting, all right?
It's exhausting and it's slow. Imagine you're playing a game of tennis, but before you hit the ball, you have to stop and read a manual in another language. You'd lose every point.
That is a spot on analogy, Oliver. To think in English means to cut out the middleman. You want the thought to go directly to the English word without passing through your native language first.
Exactly. And today we're going to show you that you don't need to be an advanced student to start doing this. You can start right here, right now, even if you only know a few hundred words.
Wait, really? Even beginners? I bet some of our listeners are shaking their heads right now thinking, no way, Sophie, my English isn't good enough for that.
Haha, I bet they are. But think about it this way. When you see a red apple, you don't need to think the word manzana and then apple. You can just look at it and say apple in your head. That, right there, is thinking in English.
Wow, you're right. It's about attaching the English word directly to the concept or the image, not to the Spanish word. It's like rewiring your brain.
Precisely. Throughout this episode, Sophie and I are going to share some practical hacks to help you do this throughout your day. We're going to talk about labeling your world, internal monologues, and even how to embrace the silence when you don't know a word.
Embrace the silence. That sounds very zen, Oliver. I'm excited. I used to struggle with this so much when I was learning French. I felt like my brain was a slow computer trying to run a heavy program.
Haha. We've all been there, but once you get the hang of it, it's like unlocking a superpower. You feel more confident, you speak more fluently, and most importantly, you actually enjoy the conversation.
So, are we ready to dive in? I've got my notebook ready and my thinking cap on.
Thinking cap. Classic Sophie. Let's kick things off with the simplest step of all, the power of labels. All right, Sophie, let's talk about the power of labels. This is the foundation of thinking in English. It's so simple that most people overlook it because they think it's too easy.
I confess, Oliver, I used to be one of those people. I thought, how is saying the word chair in my head going to help me become fluent? But then I tried it and it clicked.
Exactly. The idea is to label the objects around you. When you're sitting in your living room, don't just sit there. Look at the lamp and think lamp. Look at the window and think window. Look at the remote and think, well, remote.
Haha, it sounds like a game for kids, but it's actually remapping your brain. You're training your eyes to see an object and immediately trigger the English word.
Right. And the secret sauce here is to avoid the translation. If you look at a table and think, mesa, oh wait, table, you're still stuck in translation mode. You have to skip the Spanish word entirely. Just see the wood and the four legs and think a table.
That makes sense. But what happens when I look at something and I don't know the word? Yesterday, I looked at the thing you use to flip pancakes, and I blanked. I couldn't remember the word in English.
Haha, you mean a spatula?
Yes, a spatula. I blanked on it. In that moment, what should I do? Should I stop and look it up on my phone immediately?
That's a great question. My advice, don't break the flow immediately. If you're in the zone labeling things, just describe it in your head. Think the tool for pancakes. Then later you can look it up.
The tool for pancakes. I like that. It's like a mini challenge. It forces you to use the English you already know to explain what you don't know.
Exactly. That's a huge part of thinking in English. It's called circumlocution. A big word for a simple concept, talking around a word. Native speakers do it all the time when we forget a word.
Haha, I feel better now. I thought it was just my brain being slow. So once I've labeled all the nouns or objects in my room, what's the next level?
The next level is adding action. Instead of just labeling coffee, you start labeling the verb. When you're drinking it, think drinking. When you're pouring it, think pouring.
Oh, I see. So it becomes like a silent movie narration in your head. I am walking. I am opening the door. I am sitting down. It's like you're the main character in an English film.
Exactly. You're the director and the actor. This builds the connection between your physical actions and the language. It's powerful because you aren't studying English anymore. You're living it.
I love that. Living the language. But Oliver, be honest. Don't you think people will look at me funny if they see me staring at a spatula and whispering pouring to myself?
Well, that's the beauty of it, Sophie. It's all internal. Nobody can hear what's going on inside your head. You can be thinking in English in the middle of a crowded bus, and nobody will have a clue.
That's true. It's like a secret world. But wait, talking about internal things. What about the voice in our head? You know, that constant chatter we all have?
Exactly, Sophie, that constant chatter you mentioned. That's our next big step. We call it the internal monologue. Once you're comfortable labeling objects and actions, it's time to start narrating your life in your head.
Oh, I love this one. It's like being the narrator of your own documentary. Instead of just thinking coffee, you think, I think I'll make some coffee now. Where's my favorite mug? Oh, there it is.
Exactly. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly effective. You are practicing sentence structure without the pressure of a real conversation. There's no audience, so there's no fear of making a mistake.
That's the best part. If I say, where's my mug? Or where my mug is, nobody is there to judge me. But, Oliver's, isn't there a danger of practicing the wrong way? What if I keep making the same mistake in my head over and over?
That's a common worry, but honestly, it doesn't matter as much as you think. The goal right now isn't perfection, it's fluency of thought. You want your brain to get used to the rhythm of English. You can fix the grammar later with books or classes, but you can't fix a brain that refuses to speak.
Fluency of thought. I'm going to write that down. That's a game changer. So I should just keep talking to myself, even if I feel a bit, well, crazy.
Especially if you feel crazy. Think about your to-do list, for example. Instead of listing it in Spanish, try it in English. First, I need to send that email. Then I have to call the dentist. After that, I'll probably grab some lunch.
I tried that this morning while I was getting ready. I was thinking, where are my keys? I'm going to be late. Oh, wait, they're on the table. It actually felt like my brain was speeding up.
It was. You were bypassing the translation. And here's a pro tip for the internal monologue. Try to embody a character. Sometimes if you pretend you are a character from your favorite TV show, someone like Sherlock Holmes or a character from Friends, it makes it more fun and less like homework.
Haha, I love that. I'm Sherlock Holmes and I'm looking for my lost sock. It definitely adds a layer of humor to the day, but Oliver, what about the difficult stuff? Like emotions?
The emotional layer. That's advanced territory, but it's essential. When you feel something, name it in English. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed today. Or I'm so excited about this weekend.
I'm feeling overwhelmed. Saying it in English almost makes it feel different. Like I can observe the emotion instead of just being the emotion.
That is a very deep observation, Sophie. And it's true, speaking a second language often gives you a bit of emotional distance. It's a fascinating psychological effect.
It really is. So we've got labels, we've got monologues, and we've got emotions. But Oliver, what happens when the real world hits? You know, when someone actually speaks to you and your internal monologue suddenly freezes.
That freeze moment. Haha, we've all been there, Sophie. It's like your brain is a deer in the headlights. You have all these great thoughts in English while you're alone, but the second someone says, "How's it going?" your mind goes blank.
Exactly. It's so frustrating. You feel like a genius in the shower and an idiot at the supermarket. Why does that happen?
It happens because thinking in English is a low pressure activity, but speaking is high pressure. To bridge the gap, you need to practice preset phrases. I call them mental anchors.
Mental anchors? That sounds like something that keeps you steady in a storm.
That's exactly what they are. These are short, automatic phrases you think so often that they become reflexes. Phrases like, "That's a good point," or "Let me think about that," or even just, "You know what I mean?"
Oh, I see. So instead of searching for every single word, I have these chunks of language ready to go. It buys me time to think of the rest of the sentence.
Precisely. While you're thinking those filler phrases, your brain is working in the background to build the next thought. It's like loading a video while the intro is playing.
Loading the video. I love your analogies today, Oliver. Haha, but what about when I completely forget a word? I mean, not just a spatula, but a really important one. Should I give up and switch back to Spanish?
Never. That's the trap. The moment you switch back to Spanish, your English brain goes to sleep. Instead, try to explain the word. If you forget the word for vacuum cleaner, just think the machine that cleans the floor with air.
The floor cleaning machine. Haha, it sounds a bit clunky, but it works. It keeps the English engine running.
And that's the secret, keeping the engine running. Even if you're making mistakes, even if you're stuttering, your brain is learning that English is the primary tool for communication right now.
I've noticed that when I stay in English mode for a long time, I start to dream in English. Is that a sign that I'm finally thinking in it?
It's the ultimate sign, Sophie. When your subconscious starts using the language, it means the connections are deep. It means English has moved from your short-term memory to your identity.
Wow. Moving to my identity. That's heavy, Oliver, but it's exciting too. It's like I'm becoming a new version of myself.
You are. They say to have another language is to possess a second soul, and thinking in it is how you feed that soul. But wait, we haven't talked about the most relaxing way to think in English.
Okay, Oliver, you've got me curious. What is this relaxing way to think in English? Because usually my brain feels like it's overheating after 10 minutes of practice.
Haha, I call it the curious observer. Instead of forcing yourself to think about your to-do list, you just react to what you see. For example, if you're watching a movie or a YouTube video, try to react in English. Instead of thinking, "Que loco," think, "That's insane," or "No way."
Oh, I do that sometimes. When I'm watching a cooking show, I find myself thinking, that looks delicious, or I would never eat that. It feels so much more natural because I'm not trying to learn. I'm just responding.
Exactly. Those micro responses are pure gold. They are fast, they are emotional, and they are automatic. If you can react in English, you are thinking in English.
It's like low intensity training. But Oliver, I have a confession. Sometimes when I'm tired, I revert back to my old habits. My brain just shuts down and goes back to Spanish. Does that mean I'm failing?
Not at all. That's just your brain trying to save energy. Language is expensive for the brain, Sophie. It takes a lot of glucose and effort. If you're tired, it's natural to go back to what's comfortable.
Language is expensive. I never thought of it that way. So I should be kind to myself when I'm exhausted.
Definitely. The goal isn't to think in English 100% of the time. Even bilingual people switch back and forth. The goal is to increase the percentage. Maybe today you think in English for 5 minutes, and next week you aim for 10.
That feels much more achievable. It's like building endurance in the gym. You don't run a marathon on your first day.
Spot on. And you know what helps with that endurance? Curiosity. Instead of just labeling things, start asking questions in your head. Why is that man carrying a giant plant? Or, I wonder where that bus is going.
Haha, I love people watching. Why is he wearing a winter coat in the middle of summer? Is he a spy? Is he hiding something? It's like writing a story in my head.
Haha, exactly. Now you're creating with the language. That's the highest form of thinking in English. You aren't just repeating words, you're using them to explore the world.
It makes the whole process so much more fun. It's not a chore anymore, it's a hobby.
It's not a chore, it's a hobby. That is the perfect mindset, Sophie. But before we wrap up, we should talk about the ultimate challenge for our listeners. So, Sophie, we've talked about labels, monologues, emotions, and even people watching. But I think it's time to give our listeners a real-world challenge. Are you ready for it?
I'm always ready for a challenge. What have you got for us, Oliver?
I call it the 5-minute flash. Tomorrow morning, from the moment you wake up, I want you to commit to thinking only in English for just 5 minutes. That's it, just 5 minutes.
Only 5 minutes? That sounds doable. So while I'm brushing my teeth or picking out my clothes, I should be narrating everything in English?
Exactly. I'm brushing my teeth. The water is cold. Where is my blue shirt? Ah, there it is. If a Spanish thought creeps in, don't panic. Just acknowledge it and switch back to English.
Don't panic. That's the key phrase for today, isn't it? I think the biggest barrier to thinking in English is the fear of doing it wrong. But in your own head, you are the boss.
You are the boss, the judge, and the jury. So be a kind boss to yourself. If you stick to these 5 minutes every day, you'll be amazed at how quickly that time starts to expand naturally.
It's like planting a seed. You water it for 5 minutes a day, and eventually it grows into a whole tree of thoughts.
And that, my friends, is how you unlock your English brain. It's been an incredible session today, Sophie. I feel like we really dived deep into the psychology of learning.
We really did. I learned a lot myself just by chatting with you. Remember, everyone, thinking in English isn't a destination, it's a journey. Some days you'll feel like a native speaker, and other days you'll struggle to remember the word for spoon.
And both of those days are perfectly okay. The only failure is giving up.
Exactly. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of English Flash Talk. We hope these tips spark something new in your routine tomorrow morning.
If you try the 5-minute flash challenge, let us know how it went. We love hearing about your wins, no matter how small they seem.
And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with someone who is also on the path to fluency. Spread the love, guys.
Well said, Sophie. It's time for us to head out and get back to our own internal monologues.
Haha, I'm already thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner. In English, of course.
That's the spirit. Until next time, stay curious. Keep flashing those English skills, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you in the next flash. Bye.
Goodbye.